Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Monday, March the 26th, 2018. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market. Yeah? Take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. We do create multiple hypotheses, two main hypo 1 and hypo 2s. We do not know what the market's going to do. Therefore, we have a plan in place depending on who takes control, the buyers or the sellers. And then we have our hypo 3 and hypo 4, which are our alternative hypos for when we get range expansion. We've been seeing hypo 3 and 4 play out multiple times lately as the volatility continues to stay high. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do everything live here in the go-to, in the pre-market, and then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the regular trading hours. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, in any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So just a word of note, I'm not feeling well this morning, so I'm not sure how much trading I'm going to be doing, but I'm going to try to stay moderating in the room. Taking a look at Friday. Friday, we ended up with hypo 3, which was basically a continuation day. We opened auction in range, fought the low, and went sideways for most of the morning. Then we finally broke down and went and hit that overnight VPOC. And then we chopped where we were talking about chopping in between the 32 and the 42, failed to get back and hold inside of the prior day, and then we had our breakdown and had a nice run down all the way to that 2886, which is just above the microcomposite VPOC that started this whole trend, this whole move up into new all-time highs. Bounced on the close. That's short covering, and basically closed just below the 2600 at 2596.75. So what have we seen overnight so far? This, just a slow grind up. We opened, they started the rally, they came back to the VPOC, picked up the late buyers, and then this has just been a slow grind rally back up. And this is leading me to believe that the buy the dip buyers are continuing to buy this, and we're likely to see a rotational day as they continue to buy these lower levels and hold. Low overnight 91, high overnight 37.75. The 2-day microcomposite VPOC is at 45. That's the 2-day price balance. That's still above us. Not a lot of information in terms of levels other than this 1475. That's going to be basically our over underline with the warning line going to be up here in the 24. But if we get below the 14, we've got some repair work from overnight. Also, pretty blunt area on Friday's profile as well. Let's just take a step back, take a look at what we've got for news this week. Not a lot today. Of course, the big news is the continued saga of the trade wars and the tariffs and how that's all going to play out. I think that we've abated most of the initial shock, and that's why we're seeing this rally. In terms of news today, not a lot of scheduled news. We've got the Dallas Fed. This is today, right? Monday, yes. We have the Dallas Fed manufacturing index at 10:30, not a big one. 11:30, we've got the 3 and 6 month. We do have a few FOMC members today. We've got Dudley at 12:30. We've got Mester at 1:30. We've got Corals later on this evening. So fair amount of Fed, but they just raised rates, so I don't know what else they're going to talk about other than raising again multiple times this year. Looking at tomorrow, we've got Redbook, we've got S&P CS HPI. The big one will be consumer confidence at 10 o'clock, Richard Manufacturing. We've got Bostic speaking at 11. Our 4-week and 52-week bill auction, 5-year note at 1. And that's pretty much it. We've got API weekly crude oil at 1:30. Wednesday, we've got GDP. So that'll be the big one on Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern. And then we've got pending home sales at 10 too. So Wednesday, and then we've got crude inventory. Bostic speaking again. And then Thursday, we've got core PCE, initial jobless claims, personal spending at 8:30. We've got Canadian GDP, IPPI coming out of Canada. 9:45 Bloomberg consumer confidence, Chicago PMI, and then Michigan sentiment and consumer expectations. And then we're going into a holiday on the weekend. It's Easter weekend, so most of the markets are closing early on Good Friday, and you'll probably see the volume start dropping off on Thursday as people prepare for the Thanksgiving, for the Easter weekend. Taking a look at the macro to micro. I always like to start my day with a simple candlestick chart, a 9 EMA, 20 SMA. I'm doing this to just to remind myself where we are in terms of the trend on the larger time frames. You can see on the monthly, we've come down and we've challenged the 9 EMA again, but again here we are holding above it. So the trend, even though it's weakening, it is still intact. On the weekly, of course, that changes things. We've got this H pattern, so possibility of a breakdown and continuation on the weekly. We are below the 9 and the 20, and we've got a naked cross up here at the 2707.50. On the daily, you can see that that trend is accelerating. We've got slope and separation to the downside. A retest to the 9 from below takes us up into the 2685s. Going to the intraday, the 4-hour, you can see that we have been I talked about this on Friday. We've been stair-stepping down on the 4-hour, and we continue to do that. Nice foobar, Mr. Sneaky here on the 4-hour. We're testing the 9 right now. If we can hold this 32 and move up into the 45, the 2-day microcomposite VPOC and the takeout of the overnight high at 37.75 is likely. Going to the 60-minute. Here, let's just go to the 30-minute. 30-minute shows this Sunday rally. We opened and we've just been rallying up, and prices paralleling the 9 and the 20 nicely. So just watch for a move below the 30, but really the warning line is at 24. The key the over under line is at 14. So let's take a look at that. Overnight inventory, I said, has just been grinding higher. very toothy, very rotational, but constantly holding that trend line. We've got the key LVN down here at 14. You can see that that basically starts this lower distribution, and of course we've got these two LVN areas, which I'm just considering to be one great big huge LVN, and that starts at 24. And so I'm going to be watching 24 down to the 14. We could move through this area quickly because there's not a lot of price acceptance in it. But 14 is 1450, 1475 is the over underline, and then we've got the gap fill down here at the close from yesterday at 25.96.75. We are going to get a gap to the upside today. So taking a look at the structure. We've been in this balance. We came down and tested the microcomposite VPOC from the breakdown day, which was February the 2nd. And then on Thursday, we fell out of that balance. And Friday, we got the continuation. And they moved all the way down into this balance right here, which was basically the start of a strong rally up, and the gap up being this day where we gap from inside of value to outside of value. And we came down and they found the buyers again, and so far they're rotating back up and chopping around that 2630 area. Again, the key area is going to be 24 down to 1475. That's kind of a contentious area. If we can get back above and hold the 24, then I'm expecting a move to take out the overnight high at 37.75 and a move back up into this balance. I'm expecting a balancing day today. I'm not expecting continuation. We're gapping up. We've had a strong trend up. We're likely going to get stuck chopping either in yesterday's range or in between the two around the 45. So my main hypotheses center around chopping in the lower distribution from Friday or chopping in the upper distribution of Friday. So taking our levels and moving them over, our overnight high is up at 37.75. Our overnight low is down at 91. Our 20-period daily ATR is running at 44.09. That's the full session 20-period average true range. And we breached that overnight. We have a range in the overnight Globex so far of 48.75. So we've really traded the full average true range in the Globex session. Friday's range, 72.75, great big huge range, and more importantly, we're above the lower distribution and the LVN that it involves. So in terms of Hypo 1, my hypothesis today is an open auction in range. There is no value from Friday. It was a trend day. I'm looking for a move down into the call it the LVN zone, and somewhere in here, and this should be 1450. Somewhere in between here, I'm looking for buyers to step in, rotate us up, and basically chop us inside this area between the 25 and the 50 area, and basically fill in the auction going sideways with a lot of large rotations. Hypo 2, which I give equal weight because basically my two hypos are balanced in the upper distribution or balanced in the lower distribution. And an open auction, Hypo 2 open auction, in range, a push up into the 37, and then somewhere between 37 and 45, finding sellers coming down here, chopping inside of this 24 to 14 and then failing and coming down and chopping and closing the gap and going sideways at the lower 2600 or higher 2500s, but basically closing somewhere down here again in the lower 26 or higher 25s. Those are hypo 1 and hypo 2. Hypo 3, because of the overnight action, is a take back day, a failure to take out the gap. Now, if we open here right now at 28, our close 26, 28. Our close was 25.96.75. So our half gap fill is 26.12.37. And that's approximate because I don't know where we're going to open, but just under the over underline. I'll have to adjust this on the open. But hypo 3 is failure to close the gap and then can get the move back up and continue the overnight rally up into 45, chop in the 45 and get continuation and go and hit the key line in the sand above, which is this area right here, which I've got to adjust, which is the 76.50, which is our key line in the sand above. So hypo 3, open auction, failure to close the gap, come down, pick up buyers, get the continuation of the rally overnight, come up to the 45, chop in the 45, and push up towards that 78 and break above the prior day range and close above the 2-day sell-off. That is hypo 3. Hypo 4 is another failure to hold the 2600. The open auction in range, open test drive, sellers take control, come down and close the gap, chop around in the 91 to 96 area, fail, take out the 2586 and come down into this 2558.50 to 2569.75. Remember that our month low for is it February or March? For February, our month low for February was 25.29. So we still have a target down below if the sellers continue to stay in control here. So those are my 4 main hypotheses. Taking a quick look at gold. Gold continues to move towards that. Where'd my gold go? Gold continues to move towards that big target above at 57. We broke the Friday's high in the Globex. We do have a big move here. 2-day balance right now is right where we're trading right now in the 49, 48 area. I'm expecting them to chop here today, possibly even come down into the 42 again. But again, the levels you want to pay attention to is this 1351.30 CLVN. If we can get above that, again, the target is still up here at the 1357. Where we tried to hold value before making that $68 move down. But the key is we broke out of the balance to the upside, likely come back, test that balance again, and get the move back up into that 57. And that's what I'm looking at in gold. That's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and catch you on the flip side.